All right. A little bit teaching again, and then practice Guru Yoga. Just to correct your motivation, benefit for all sentient beings who is suffering. So for the actual practice of this profound path of Guru Yoga, there are three stages I just mentioned in the last section. And the first is visualizing, right? The field of merit. When you practice Guru Yoga, it is very important to have, again, very strong devotion, because it is the foundation for this practice. I always look in and teach and practice first the foundation. Never teach without the foundation anything to my student, never. Let them practice the foundation first. Once they have a good foundation, then easy to build on it. So in order to practice Guru Yoga, the devotion is the foundation, very important. So when you practice Guru Yoga, this is you need to know. Remember, I want to tell you again this because it is so important for your devotion. So when you visualize in the sky in front, pray to whichever enlightened being inspires you the most. You need to remember that all the time. Who? Then very easy to develop and towards the devotion towards this being, holy being, this enlightened being. Very easy, right? Otherwise, you have no sort of connection with any sort of teachers and any sort of, like Buddha, Padmasambhava, then just to visualize that is difficult, right? So you have to visualize when you practice Guru Yoga, whoever you have a strong connection, you have to visualize that in front of you. Padmasambhava is very important teacher because the second Buddha, but it's not necessarily visualize only him if you have no connection. So whichever enlightened beings inspires you the most, you have to remember that person, that teacher or that Buddha or whatever. And also, in our the Guru Yoga ritual, inside the ritual says, right, consider that this holy being represent all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, because we are meditating on nature mind. So the nature mind point of view, all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, even though us, same, there's nothing different. So you have to represent all of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and masters and teachers. So you have to really just feel the presence strongly, and you really need to sort of invoke their compassion and also the blessing. That's in general very important to keep your mind when you practice Guru Yoga. But if you practice Guru Yoga with Guru Rinpoche, then I will explain you about Guru Rinpoche a little bit. He lived in the 8th century. He came from India, right? You all know that, where he was born into a royal family. And in the Nyingma tradition, there are a little bit sort of different opinion or different, little bit kind of debate who was really his father. Three different kind of fathers people talking. They exactly who was really, I think, we don't know. So three very important people, three kind of teachers or yogi, right? But at the time of his birth, there was the Indian king called Ndabutta, Indian king. So this king actually founded Guru Padmasambhava, Guru Rinpoche, and he sort of sitting on a red lotus flower and located somewhere between Pakistan and India. So it was at that time the king Ndabut decided to sort of adopt Padmasambhava and raised him to be a next king. He found Padmasambhava when he was 8 years old. I guess the Indian king Ndabut didn't have any children. And he is a king, so he's thinking about the next king, right? So he thought, oh, this is great, kind of amazing child, and I want sort of adopt this for my next king. That's why he founded Padmasambhava when he was 8 years old. He's just sitting on a lotus flower. That's why he got this name, lotus born, right? Lotus born, actually his name. Doesn't mean he came from lotus. Lotus, his father, no. But when Ndabut founded his, when he was 8 years old, he sit on lotus flower. And the Danakosha, the ocean between Pakistan, is huge. I've been there. Huge ocean. It's half is Pakistan, half is India. So he, Indian king Ndabut founded him. And he dubbed for the next king, right? And Padmasambhava did not like that idea at all, become a king, and asked to be sort of relinquished from this sort of responsibility. And Padmasambhava used sort of so many skillful means to change his father's mind, because he didn't want to be a king, Indian king. And finally, the king, the Ndabut, let him go free. So even as a child, he already had a sort of really capacity to help others when he was like 8 years old. And then Ndabut, when he founded him, he asked, "Who is your father? Who is your mother? Where are you from?" He didn't give answer correctly. He said, "My father is a Samandabada, my mother is Samandabadi," like that. He just give him answer like this. Not really. He didn't give him answer the correctly. Oh, my father, this and that. But so after that, Padmasambhava, he left from Ndabut. And after that, the king, also the Tsong Debtsen of the Tibetan king, eventually invited Padmasambhava to come to Tibet. And of course, Padmasambhava went to Bhutan, Nepal, all over, India, meditate, and, for teach, and eventually he went to Tibet. And he also built Tibet's the first monastery in Tibet. This monastery still exists in Tibet. And so he built the monastery, and then he taught the people about authentic Tibetan Buddhism in Tibet. That's why Padmasambhava is very important to Tibetans, because at that time in Tibet, really difficult. Some other religions came and kind of changed people's mind and behavior, very not so good. So that's why Trosong Debsen, the king, Tibetan king, invite him because he has capacity to control and to teach. So that's why he came to Tibet, and he really did great job. And he has so amazing students in Tibet. So that's why he's very important. And so we called second Buddha. So I think for Western students who want to practice Tibetan Buddhism, I think it's very important to understand about Padmasambhava. And so that's kind of very short, very briefly, about Padmasambhava, how he came to Tibet. And then next, you need to understand the 7-line prayers in order to practice Guru Yoga. This is the essence, the ritual, right? So I will explain you the 7-line prayer later. But first, I'm going to explain you the mantra, Om Ahom Banjar Gur Padma Siddha Hom, because this is, if you are interested to practice Guru Yoga preliminary 500,000 times, then you have to recite Om Ahom Banjar Gur Padma Siddha Hom again and again. So you need to understand what is meaning this mantra. So that's very important, and I will teach you, tell you, and explain you the mantra. So this mantra is so important because ordinary people like us, we do not have the good fortune to see Padmasambhava's face or hear his voice, but we have, fortunately, his mantra. So which this mantra he blessed with his wisdom and loving kindness and strength to be identical with him. This mantra is not separate from him. Mantra is Padmasambhava. You have to understand that. When you recite the mantra, you are talking with Padmasambhava. The mantra is Padmasambhava, right? This is not, separate and not different than Padmasambhava. So this mantra is not composed of ordinary syllables, but has the power to eliminate all obstacles and to benefit or confer all qualities of wisdom. So that's why this mantra is so famous in power, and all the traditions, Karjit, Nyingma, Geluk, Sarcha, all they practice this mantra. They all know this mantra. So this mantra can be explained in many ways according to Buddhist philosophy. But the first I will give you explain you very simple and easy way. So the first three syllables of this mantra are Om, Ah, Hong. Okay, again you have to say Hong, not Hum. Sometimes people say Hum. That's not the correct pronunciation. So you have to say Om, Ah, Hong. So these Om, Ah, Hong three syllables represent, in this case, right now we're talking about Padmasambhava, right? So this case, these three syllables represent Padmasambhava's body, speech, and mind, and his wisdom mind. Om, body, Ah, speech, Hong, his heart. So first Om, right? Om, Ah, Hong. Om corresponds to the Dharmakaya, which is the nature of phenomena. And then A corresponds to the Sambhogakaya and the Lord of Compassion, Avalokiteshvaraya. And then Hong corresponds to Nirmanakaya, manifesting as the lotus-born Padmasambhava. In this case, Hong is the syllable, Padmasambhava's heart syllable, Hong, which is Padmasambhava, which is the Nirmanakaya. In this case, Padmasambhava is the Nirmanakaya. So Om is Dharmakaya, which is the Padmasambhava's wisdom or the nature, the primordial nature mind, right? A is the Sambhogakaya, which is his compassion. And Hong is Nirmanakaya, which is manifesting as the lotus-born Padmakara. So this is what we call three kayas, or three body, speech, and mind, or three sort of the nature, what do you call it, the essence of his body, speech, and mind. Om, Ah, Hong, understand? Vajra, right? Vajra represents or means Padmasambhava's unchanging wisdom mind, which is the nature mind. The symbolizes the unchanging, non-dual wisdom of the Buddhas and the nature phenomena. Understand that? Vajra means unchanging, which cannot be destroyed by ignorance. Unchanging means can't destroy by ignorance or any sort of afflictions. We have lots of afflictions, right? Which means destroy our inner peace, our wisdom, our mind. But Vajra, Padmasambhava's, the unchanging wisdom mind, is not destroyed by ignorance or any afflictions, but cut right through all delusion and obscurations. So that is Vajra, Omahung Vajra. Guru means teacher, right? In Tibet, Guru, the Guru is Sanskrit term. Tibet, we call it Lama, or teacher. And the Guru is the most precious of all beings, right? And this represents our ability to learning the teachings. Because without the teacher, we couldn't learn anything. So we have to follow a teacher who has trained his mind in love, in compassion, in bodhicitta, right? Relying on him with devotion. Because without devotion to your root teacher, that will be of no use to you, There's a great teacher we call Adisha. Remember the Lobjong? What do you call it? Mind training. The Adisha is the great teacher, the holder, mind training, teachings. He says that until you attain enlightenment, you need a teacher. So follow a spiritual teacher. He also said, until you realize the nature state, your mind, you need to learn it. So listen to teacher's instructions. So all happiness is the teacher's blessing. So always remember his kindness. The Atisha says that. So the devotional practice of Guru Yoga is the only way to awaken within you realization of the nature state. No other method can bring such realization. So that Guru means, right? Teacher, but your Guru. Padma means lotus, right? Padma is Tibetan, which means lotus. And this refers to Padmasambhava's the first name. In Tibet we call Padma Jongni. Padma means lotus. Jongni means born. Lotus born. Padma is lotus and it's sort of untainted by any defects, right? So Padma is, lotus is very clear, right? Without any sort of, what do you call it? Obscure. Padma, yes. Lotus born. So Guru Rinpoche is the Nirmanakaya, right? The emanation of Amitabha. So who corresponds to the Lotus family. That's why he got this name, the Lotus family, and the speech aspect of the Buddhas. So Padma, Guru Padma, Padma is actually easy, right? The Lotus, which means his name. Easily. Guru Padma, Siddha. Siddha means true accomplishment, and represent what we develop in our spiritual practice and represent both the common or ordinary and supreme attainments. So the Siddha means true accomplishment. So the first is ordinary accomplishments, include freedom from sickness, prosperity, happiness, right? The supreme accomplishment is to attain completely realization of Guru Rinpoche himself. Siddhi. Guru Padma Siddhi. Hong is called to Guru Padmasambhava, in this case, requesting him to bestow these accomplishments on us, or invoking the Gurus to come and to bless us. Hong. So you have to know that Guru Padmasambhava and this mantra are inseparable. So if we pray one-pointedly like this, then there is absolutely no doubt that Guru Rinpoche will come at one to grant us his blessings, I think. So it is only through the blessing of a Buddha that we can achieve realization. Dzogchen point of view. Okay? Remember, yeah?
You said that the Om corresponds to the body of Guru Rinpoche and the Dharmakaya. Is the Buddha Amitabha, or would the Buddha be Samantabhadra?
Samantabhadra.
Samantabhadra.
Dharmakaya.
Dharmakaya. And then you said the A is the speech in the Sambhogakaya, and you said it corresponds to Avalokiteshvara, or Charmesik, compassion.
Or Vajrasattva.
Or Vajrasattva. And then you said
Relative level. Ultimate level, different. Yes, yeah.
And then you said the hung is the wisdom mind or the heart, the Nirmanakaya form of Guru Rinpoche.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep. So remember that without devotion, there will be no accomplishment. Because at the time of Buddha, 2,600, many years, good student, not good student, right? For example, there were those who could see and hear Buddha's teachings almost like every day in a person, and still had no devotion to him. Then there is no blessings. This shows how important it is to have devotion that is very sort of pure and genuine. According to this Guru Yoga teaching, or the Dzogchen teaching, not necessarily to understand about Buddhism very well, not necessarily intelligent person in order to recognize the realization of nature mind, but it is necessarily to have devotion in order to realize the nature mind. So that's why the Dzogchen teaching is the last teaching, according to the sort of curriculum, a stage, the last, because develop devotion take time. So that's why last teaching, not first teaching, right? Dzogchen is not first teaching, not beginners. Beginners like us, difficult to have devotion. First we investigate, teacher investigate teachings, and then practice these preliminaries. You will find something. You will find definitely devotion. That means you are ready to listen and teach, listen and practice Dzogchen. And if you have no devotion, that means you are not ready practice Dzogchen, That doesn't mean you have no chance to practice forever, but you have to sort of build, foundation. And then Dzogchen easy. I mean, people can teach Dzogchen, but no use probably, because you don't understand, you don't realize the Dzogchen teaching. Then better practice compassion, bodhicitta, all these kind of things, But in order to get enlightenment, you have to practice Dzogchen. So, then we pray reciting the prayer, the Guru Yoga ritual, the 7 branches, right? 7 branches after the 7th prayer, the supplication, and then 7 branches and the other prayers in the practice and with devotion, and confidence and trust, that by so doing accomplishment or realization would definitely arises. So your visualization should not be done in such a way that you have the sort of notion that you are looking at something out there. But rather you should integrate the visualization with your own mind. Try to relate it to sort of state of your own mind. In this way, you will find some change and sort of discipline with your mind. That's you need to focus on. Whenever you have visualized or recite or practice, not something create outside there. Everything is based on your mind, and look inward. Even though you visualize something there, but look inward, your mind. That visualization is manifestation, your mind, from your mind. That is your mind. The visualization is your mind. You're part of your mind. You have to understand the nature, the essence of this visualization. There is no practice and working with mind. According to Buddhism, there is no practice other than practice about your mind. Everything is your mind. Everything is your mind. So all this meditation practice kind of method, the main point is the realization, the nature mind. Doesn't matter, you realize the nature mind through something outside or through something inside. Doesn't matter. The point is you have to realize, you have to understand the nature mind. When you sort of examine anything deeply, you always arrive at the nature of your mind. That's for sure. And this is the ultimate nature of everything. You examine outside something, or inside, or your body or mind outside the property, everything, you examine anything sort of deeply and correctly, and you will find nature mind. That's all. Nature of essence, nature of everything. But as a beginner who may be on the path of sort of accumulation, we have 5 paths. The first path, accumulation, or the path of sort of the first path, we ordinary beings have not had the sort of actual realization of the nature mind, right? But we know that, for instance, smoke indicates the presence of fire, but it's not the fire itself, right? But by following the smoke, we can find the fire. You can see there is a smoke, that means there is a fire. You can't see fire now, but you see smoke. That's same. All your meditation practice like smoke. Through that meditation, you will find nature mind. Your nature mind now, as ordinary people, can't see the nature mind, but see the other things, the symbols, the experience, all these things. That means you eventually will find out your nature mind. So don't lose your confidence. Even though you practice Guru Yoga and difficult and you can't really realize the nature mind, you can't any experience have your nature mind, and people say, I don't understand this. But one day you will reach, you will find out the nature mind. And then it is the great. It is very essence of everything. So it is important to understand that the view of Guru Yoga is not same as the actual experience of nature mind, but by following the view and becoming sort of familiar with the Guru Yoga practice, we will arrive at the actual realization of nature mind itself. Understand? That's why the ultimate understanding of Guru Yoga is this. Right now, we're practicing Guru Yoga, maybe intellectually, but eventually you will really find out nature of your mind. Guru Yoga is Dzogchen practice, if you really understand. That's all. Any questions? This time we'll skip the visualization. We need to just start the 7-line supplication few times, and then we also skip the seven branch offerings. We'll say some 7-line prayers, and then we'll recite the mantra, Padmasambhava's mantra, and then after that you have to meditate, right? Maybe for you it's a little bit difficult when you recite the mantra to see the nature of mind at the same time. Then we should stop saying on the mantras and focus and directly to look inward, nature mind. And it's something difficult, your thoughts arise, don't follow, just let them go. They're dissolving, they will dissolve into your nature mind. You should focus on nature mind. Don't follow your thoughts, right? And bring your mind back. And actually, this teacher is saying that the nature mind is not difficult if you have a good foundation. Once you sort of look directly in nature mind's there, you cannot really dig, and try to find where it is. You can't do that. You don't. If you do that, you will lose. You just look in. That's it. If you recognize, that's the nature mind. If you don't recognize, then don't go. Sort of, and search more. Where is my mind? Where is my nature mind? You can't find it, and it's very easy and very profound, right? The nature mind. So after the recite some the mantra, then just comfortable and relax and look inward, and you will find the nature mind. Then just meditate on it, and there is no thoughts, no negative emotions, no positive emotions, nothing, but it's clarity. You understand everything. You will see everything, but without thoughts and emotions. That's all. You can visualize the lineage and the Guru when we recite the 7-line prayer. So we don't have to visualize first and then say, right? So just we can do that at the same time. So first just to relax in both your mind and body, and let go everything, okay? Let go everything. Just to relax 1 second, and bring your mind back and just let go everything. Hong in the northwest, the land of Oriana.
In the center of the blooming lotus flower is the one with supreme wondrous city, the renowned lotus-born Padmakara, surrounded by a vast retinue of Dakinis. Following in your footsteps, I pray. Please come and bestow your blessings. Guru Padma Siddhi Om. Om. In the northwest of the land of Odiana, in the center of a blooming lotus flower, is the one with supreme wondrous city, the renowned lotus-born Padmakara, surrounded by a vast retinue of Dakinis. Following in your footsteps, I pray. Please come and bestow your blessings. Guru Padma Siddhi Om. Om. In the northwest of the land of Oriana, in the center of a blooming lotus flower, is the one with supreme wondrous city, the renowned lotus-born Padmakara, surrounded by a vast retinue of Dakinis. Following in your footsteps, I pray. Please come and bestow your blessings. Guru Padma Siddhi Om.
Hong in the
northwest of the land of Odiana, in the center of a blooming lotus flower, is the one with supreme wondrous city, the renowned lotus-born Padmakara, surrounded by a vast retinue of Dakinis. Following in your footsteps, I pray. Please come and bestow your blessings. Guru Padma Siddhi Om.
Ahom Banzarangara Bhamazade Om Ahom Banzarangara Bhamazade Om Ahom Banzarangara Bhamazade Om Ahom Banzarangara Bhamazade Hong. Om Ahom Bhajangara Padmasambhava. Again, thinking about your visualizations. The lineage dissolve into Padmasambhava. Padmasambhava dissolve into light. Light dissolve into you. Look directly in your nature mind. Any question?
Yeah, I have a question. You mentioned a number of different Buddhas. I guess Padmasambhava was the second Buddha. So I just kind of a very general question. How many Buddhas are there? Because they're like Manjushri, Avalokiteshvara, Shakyamuni. So are they all really different beings?
Different, yes, different and they are same. Relatively, they are different. Ultimately, they are same. But according to Buddhism, we have like thousands of Buddhas. You know, not only one Buddha. Because everybody, all living beings, according to Buddhism, even though the animals, insects, they have a Buddha nature. And there is the potential, there is if you recognize that Buddha nature, not only once recognize, meditate on again and again and again, over again. Then there is a chance to become a Buddha, not only human, even though animals, but they have no capacity or no chance to practice and understand, right, animals. That's why we have a precious human life. We understand, we can practice. That's the difference, right? Human beings are different than animals. Otherwise, the Buddha nature, point of view of Buddha nature, we all possess the Buddha nature. So that's why, according to Buddhism, not only one Buddha, lots of Buddhas, past, present, and future. Sentient beings, beginningless, no end. As same Buddhas, no begin, no end. According to, the samsara, right? Samsara is no beginning, no end. And generally, you have to understand. Individually, there is a beginning, there is end. But in general, there's samsara, no end, no beginning. That's same Buddha. So when you recognize your Buddha nature, not only recognize, right? You have to meditate on that again and again until you diminish all your negative emotions, afflictions. That we call the Buddha. You become a Buddha. Then you have no afflictions. Then you become a perfect person. That's what we call Buddha. Yes. Yeah?
Well, it's probably maybe too long of a question, but I was curious as the practice of Tonglen, the origination of Tonglen, did that extend out of Guru Padmasambhava?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Padmasambhava and Buddha is part of bodhicitta practice. This is not only just, but when you practice Tonglen, you are practicing bodhicitta. Yep.
I have a question. So you said a lot about devotion.
Mm-hmm.
How that's the foundation of this practice. But as I also understand Buddhist teachings, we don't want attachment. So what is the difference between devotion and attachment, being devoted to a practice, as opposed to being attached to it?
Very different. Attachment and devotion. It's very, very different. Devotion comes from love and kindness and compassion. You have a devotion because you think about the kindness of your teacher or Buddhas, right? And your motivation is different. You have a devotion because you want to practice, because you want to understand the nature mind, you want to become a Buddha. The motivation is once you become a Buddha, you have a capacity to help others, not yourself. The motivation is different. The characteristic of devotion is different than attachment. Attachment is you attach it to people, family, or property, everything based on the self. I want this. I need this. Attachment is affliction. As long as you have attachment destroys your peace and your wisdom mind, your compassion. So they're very different. Now we have to, I think, finish. Your question next, okay? The closing prayers. May I attain in each and every life
the sublime virtues of existence and peace. May I pursue the flawless mindset of altruism, working for the welfare of others on a vast scale. Through this very merit of mine, may every single sentient being eliminate all forms of negativity and practice virtue forevermore. May Supreme Precious Bodhisattva take birth where it has not arisen. Where it has arisen, may it never wane, but continue to grow forevermore. May Supreme Precious Bodhisattva take birth where it has not arisen. Where it has arisen, may it never wane, but continue to grow forevermore. May Supreme Precious Bodhisattva take birth where it has not arisen. Where it has arisen, may it never wane, but continue to grow forevermore.
All right, thank you.